All right, here we are, Bernie and Sid, WABC Radio. You can get them on the internet, listen to their show, which is good. I've been on it. I'm on it every Thursday, right?
Yes,
you guys wake me up in the morning. Yeah. What?
But
Who's that?
You're so energetic
I
and
know,
enthusiastic.
You wake us up.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can watch it. If you're not in New York, you can listen to the Bernie and Sid show on WABC Radio. Give me the website.
WABCRadio.com. Or just ask.
That's easy.
Ask Alexa.
Okay.
Pop you right.
The little machine
That's
you
right.
have
That's
that
right.
follows you around?
Yeah.
My dog ate it. Holly ate it. Said it doesn't like it at all.
I'll buy him some dog food next time.
Now, you get WABC kind of conservative station, but you get all kinds of people listening, and this is New York. The wall. What's the opposition to the wall?
Trump. Right? If
It's just all
that's
about
it.
him.
If you just replace wall with Trump, there's your answer.
So if it was Obama wanted the wall,
Right.
we would have had it already.
Oh, there's no question. Because the same people that are yelling about Trump and the wall are the same people that not that long ago, the Chuck Schumers, the Clintons,
They
both
wanted
of them,
the wall.
they wanted the wall. So if you replace the word wall with Donald Trump, there's your answer. We like Trump, we like the wall. We hate Trump. Not everybody. He was for the wall way before Donald Trump, so were you. But the overwhelming majority of people just have climbed on since this whole Trump phenomenon.
Yep.
If they don't like Donald Trump, they don't know why, but they don't want the wall.
They don't want the wall. The government shutdown, does anybody in New York care about the government shutdown?
Not a lot of people, no. And I don't think anybody will, really, until the airports start to clog up and slow down. I think that will be the tipping point when people will start to take action. But as to what he said about Trump and the wall, first of all, I think people are starting the next caravan coming up is undermining their manufactured crisis narrative.
Right.
That's A. And B, these polls, you mentioned a Pew poll. There's an ABC Washington Post poll that shows that swing voters are up 12% year to year on support for the wall. 30% a year ago, now 42%, because people aren't stupid. They see some of the they see some of the visuals down there, and it's also how you phrase the question. If you say, "Hey, a wall costs $5 billion," these illegal immigrants are going to cost hundreds of billions of dollars. And building a wall might solve the opioid crisis. It might stop committing crimes, that type of thing.
It'll mitigate all. It's not going to solve it, but it'll mitigate
But if you ask the question that way,
if you engage in saying, here are the pros, here are the cons,
Right.
what do you support? Because most people they don't know who El Chapo is, Nieto is.
No.
They don't know all of this stuff. They just want to be stoned.
Right.
All right. And my provocative thing that we are partially responsible.
It
for
also
this.
depresses wages for blacks. I mean, if you say that to somebody, they'll say, well, yeah, you know what, we should build a wall because we care about black people.
Yep. Getting back to your point, I'm partially responsible. I'm an addict. I've been to rehab twice.
How long were you taking drugs?
I did drugs. I started when I was about 13 years old. I would say about 30 years.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever think about your money going to these terrible people?
Yeah, once.
Once in 30 years.
You want to know when?
When?
About 4 minutes ago.
When you brought it up.
You brought it up, and I sat there and I said, I'm a father now. I'm a pretty good guy. I wish I had thought about that a long time ago. But the truth is, I don't. Addicts never do. But you're right. There is a repercussion.
Is it because drug addicts are basically wanting instant gratification for themselves and everything else is blocked out to get that?
Well, you make it sound selfish for themselves. I mean, for a lot of us, it's a chemical thing. We need it. Can't get through the day without it. Some of us, that's not the case. But in the end, yes, it's about quenching that thirst right then and there, getting it done. And even though a lot of us are good people, smart people, we will do just about anything to make that happen, and that becomes dangerous and puts people like El Chapo in positions like he's in.
Now, how did you get out of it? How did they treat your disease?
Well, I went to rehab twice, and I'll tell you one quick thing that I told Bernie this before. One of the exercises they did was they put me in a coffin, and they closed the coffin, and they held a mock funeral, and they said, here's Sidney's wife, Danielle. She loved him. What a great husband. Here's his daughter, Ava. She was 18 months at the time. She loved him. What a great father, And they go through this whole mock funeral. They do things, exercises like that.
About how much pain you're bringing to other people.
That's correct, because it's not just about you.
Of course.
Right.
Every drug addict has an extended list of people that they've harmed. And that is another thing about it. So you were successfully treated.
Yes.
All right, and you were able to get out of it.
That's right.
So when I say that, there are two things that I say that people disagree. Number one, the pushers are the devil.
Agreed.
You would agree with that?
Totally. In fact, when Philip Seymour Hoffman died, they didn't want to arrest the dealer. They knew who he was.
Yeah.
They knew he jumped off the heroin.
actor, right.
That's right. And they never arrested the guy.
They got him on something else.
Right.
And the second thing is that we Americans are partially responsible for all this massive corruption and death because the drug addicts consume the drugs.
You agree with that, don't you?
I totally agree with that. I mean, the demand, supply and demand, it's economics 101. But it also, if you shut off the border and you can't get, the supply is gone, the demand will dwindle. It just naturally, it just will. I mean, you just have to do it. And it's not just Trump, by the way. It's also these Democrats who realize the importance of a secure border. They're afraid of their own left-wing, junkyard dog radical base. They know that we need a secure border, but the left-wing base, the new radical left, they're deathly afraid. Chuck Schumer's afraid of these guys showing up in front of his house with a bullhorn saying, you collaborated with a Nazi, you caved. He's deathly afraid.
Right.
He knows.
But Trump is afraid of Ann Coulter.
Well, I also believe that he really thinks we need a secure border.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
There's no phony issue for Trump.
right. Yeah.
He believes we need it.
Yeah.
But he's afraid of Ann Coulter.
Well,
He doesn't want Coulter calling him a wuss.
no, he doesn't want Coulter or Rush Limbaugh, but still, that was
More
his,
Coulter, though.
his signature issue, and he knows that this is his last chance really to get it, and he's not going to cave on it, and I don't think he should.
You know, we argue so much about the numbers, and part of it is Donald Trump's fault. Even when he made that address a couple of weeks ago, he exaggerates. He doesn't, I don't want to say he lies, but he certainly exaggerates, and there's no reason to, because the truth is, if you can stop one cartel dealer, if you can stop one terrorist, if you can stop one murderer, then you've done your job. What's the difference if it's 6 or 9 or 10,000? We get caught up in the numbers.
Now, why won't the media report this honestly? There was a case today in Utah where a big drug dealer, all right, deported 8 times. They grabbed him 8 times. All right, it's like Cates Law. But Cates Law went down the drain, okay? Why won't the media get behind sane protections for the American people?
They're just cowardly and corrupt and biased. Look, the same thing out on Long Island just last week. 3 kids attacked with baseball bats and knives. 1 kid stabbed in the back by MS-13 who came here illegally. They don't connect that story, which is directly related to the government shutdown. They report them in separate segments as though one has nothing to do with the other because they're dishonest and they believe, I mean, they just play to that base.
They just play into the far left base.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you, you know, after the address that night, I told Bernie this the next day, I actually watched MSNBC. I had to see what they were going to say. And they were furious that Donald Trump actually told stories, true stories, by the way, of this girl being shot and killed and this husband being shot and killed. He had 3 or 4 stories during that address of real-life murders, horrific stuff.
Because most illegal immigrants are good people.
Right.
So you can't tell the ones about the ones that are bad.
That's all they said for the rest of the night. That's all they said. What about the 10 million people that are gray?
And those 3 kids, those 3 people who stabbed one of the kids in the back, they were MS-13, they were minors. They came in here as, quote unquote, unaccompanied children.
Yeah, if you're under 18, you get to the border, you're in.
Meanwhile, they were gang members.
Right,
I mean,
of course.
and the media portrays them as these poor, helpless, hapless.
Right, it's a one-day story and bang, it's over. Last question for you guys. Do you feel, when you're talking on the radio, do you feel that most Americans know what the deuce you're talking about? See, I'm getting worried now that the machines, and we have a story, 50% of our lives are now staring at machinery, that the awareness of people and their knowledge is dropping so fast.
Agreed.
You're so right.
That if you get out of America's greatest talent who has a bag on his head, the Super Bowl contenders, that's all they know. They don't know anything else.
Absolutely right.
You're right. And again, it goes back to the president. There are people that are so ill-informed on what's going on politically. For example, Reggie Bush, the running back formerly of the New Orleans Saints, was killing Donald Trump on Twitter because he served the Clemson football team,
Burgers.
McDonald's and Wendy's. He said, how disrespectful. These guys just won the national championship. As if, by the way, they found the cure for cancer. They won the national championship and you serve them burgers. He doesn't know on a daily basis what Donald Trump does, what he's dealing with. He just knows, I'm a black man, I'm doing relatively well, I'm supposed to hate Donald Trump. So I'm going to tweet that he did a bad job. But like Bernie said earlier, if Obama did the same thing, he would have been, quote unquote, a man of the people. So these people are not informed. They just go, Trump does it, no good. That's it.
Meanwhile, it was the most authentic. It was an actually nice, lighthearted thing that he did, and the media would have
The
been.
guys like the burgers.
They love the burgers.
They ate them all.
Aaron Burnett called
Right.
him a sexist,
sexist.
because he actually said at one point that his wife may make salad.
So they turned a nice thing like that into some negative. This guy's a sexist, and some people saying racist as well.
Right.
I mean,
well,
it's
that's the game. You know how we can diminish Trump no matter what.
Yeah.
All right. And Howie Mandel is going to be hosting that show. That's going to be a new reality show on NBC. Right? How we can diminish Trump tonight. Howie, man, I like Howie. That was a good guy. He was on your show today. I heard him. That's why it popped into my mind. All right, there they are, Bernie and Sid. Check them on out on the internet, WABC.com.